the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your #1 source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everybody. I am your host, Courtney Henderson, and we are here for another episode of our Spotlight On series here at AfterBuzz. And I have the lovely Roxy from Rich Kids of Beverly Hills with me today.
Hi everybody.
So, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Of course, I'm good. I'm loving I had Morgan a week ago, and then Johnny was in yesterday.
Yeah,
so
I know. It's fun to have everybody.
It's nice to kind of, get each of you and not to have to share. Right. To have all of you at once.
But we are all really fun together, too.
Now that I'm like meeting each of you, I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, how can I get them all back together?
We're so much fun together. It's like so many personalities at once. It's fun.
Yes, and you're all so different, and that's kind of I think why people love the show so much is because they're getting so much personality.
Yeah,
and it's so fun to see because most of you kind of grew up together.
Yes,
and
all of us.
And so it's kind of one of those where it's to have all these different personalities that were kind of raised fairly similarly is fun.
Kind of unique, yeah. And we're all like complete different, huge personality and they're totally different quirks. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So who have you known the longest?
Brendan. I met him in second grade.
Second grade.
Went to elementary through high school together.
With Brendan. Okay.
And then I met Morgan my freshman year of college.
Right.
Her ex lived in our dorm. And she was like hanging out with my girlfriend to kind of spy on her boyfriend.
Of course.
And then we became instantly best friends the day that we met. And our birthdays are one day apart, so it's kind of like we're Gemini sisters.
Yes.
And we've been inseparable ever since. That was, 7, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
And then Dorothy I met my sophomore year. Her and my sister were roommates in college.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So they were roommates, and you're pretty close with your sister.
Very close with my sister. And Dorothy and I became very close. And then I kind of brought her and Morgan together, and when I moved to New York, they became closer.
Right, of course.
And then Johnny was Dorothy's best friend, and I met him, obviously, as soon as I met Dorothy, and then, yeah.
The rest is history.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, in doing the show, I mean, how did the show kind of come to be? Is it something that somebody heard about and it was a casting, or did you guys all get approached kind of as a group?
Dorothy kind of got approached, and because of the Instagram Tumblr page, it was really flamboyant, and she's very out there, and she's very lavish, and she brought along Morgan to go in for this interview or meeting. And they were obsessed with them because they're such huge, larger-than-life personalities. Yeah, and they're like, we want to make amazing together. They're like, let's make a show around you guys. Let's meet some of your friends to color you guys in even more, and let's do it. And then a month later, we all did Skype interviews, and a month later, we signed contracts and filmed a pilot. It was the most bizarre, unexpected whirlwind of an experience. And then we are here a year and a month later.
Right, season 2.
Yeah. It's crazy. It all happened literally so quickly.
Yeah. Well, I've heard so many people talk about getting a pilot or having an idea for a pilot, and it takes years, if ever, to get off the ground. And then
ours happened literally in 2 months. It was I'm doing a reality show. My parents just maybe you can promote your business. You're starting out as an interior designer. Let's see what happes. And then it was okay, we're going. This is the title, and you better like it. And it's okay.
So is the first season in filming that? How was that different than the second season?
The first season, we were all a little bit more cautious. It was much newer to us. We weren't as deep and open with the cameras, I think. And the second season, we got more comfortable, and we kind of let it all hang out. And we kind of totally forget they're there, get a lot deeper and a lot more emotional, and see a lot of our more sensitive sides.
Yeah, which we've seen already in the first few episodes that have aired, with Morgan coming out with her brother and all of the things that...
The craziest thing is Morgan's my best friend in the whole world, and I never knew that.
Never had talked about it.
I knew it was always a weird subject, and her brother never, ever came up. I never knew why.
Of course. And so you knew she had a brother.
I knew she had a brother. I've never seen a photo of him. But I never wanted to pry. I'm very respectful. I don't want to.
It's one of those. Yeah. There's a reason. My sister's out in the open. We all hang out. Everybody knows her because I love her and we get along.
Right.
So if she's not bringing that up,
there must have been a reason. And I never speculated. I never asked. And when I found out in China, it was just insane. I'm being chills even talking about it because I never knew that about her, and it made so much sense and so much. I felt more connected to her, but I never knew it happened on camera. It was the craziest thing.
And you would never think that of anywhere for that moment to kind of unravel and her to feel the comfort to do that, to be
would be on camera and in China.
Yeah.
I don't think she predicted that at all either. She had no idea that would happen.
No, it just kind of, it's one of those where it's just like word vomit and just kind of comes out.
And China was super out of body for all of us.
Really?
We were all, although I seem the only one that's exhausted. We were all really exhausted. And we all kind of had a moment there. And we all experienced like so many emotional ups and downs. It was the most bizarre. It was like eclipse season or something. We all had like so much going on emotionally. So.
And is that the first time any of you had been to China outside of Dorothy?
I've been there twice before. I travel a lot.
Well, that's
as
why.
I said on the show.
Yeah.
And I wasn't mad. In reality, what happened was Johnny and I were both ignored. They didn't have rooms for us. We weren't on the reservation, and we all paid for ourselves our own way. So I was kind of, I thought it was done on purpose to make us riled up. So I was confused as to what was going on.
Oh, to where it was like, wait a second, we're
is
filming.
This a joke?
Yeah.
Is this real? I'm like, I was so tired, and everyone knew how tired I was. I thought they were a joke, playing a trick on me.
Yeah.
I'm like, this can't be for real.
Right.
I'm like, you guys laughing at me? I don't get it. So.
But then it comes out, and there ended up being rooms for you?
No, they ended up getting us rooms.
Oh, so somehow your reservation was just lost. Gone. Oh my gosh.
But I obviously was not, I'm not a rude person. I'm a very nice person. I'm not one to be that way.
Well, and we all I think have our limits. Well, and I've loved because both Johnny and Morgan and Sudi, but also I've seen in blogs and things on social media, have come to your defense and kind of said, we all get that way. Her moment just happened to be on camera. This is very much the exception to Roxy and her personality.
So it is. I can cry by thinking about it. But it's just so not me. And I watched it back and I was crying for 3 days. I'm like, oh my God, I'm mortified. Like, this is not who I am.
Right. So did you find anybody kind of coming to you on Twitter or any of the social media sites kind of angry with you, or kind of like, this can't be her?
I have no idea. I was like, they had death threats.
What?
People were so nasty. Like, I had to turn my phone off for 3 days. It was the craziest thing I've ever experienced. My mom was like reporting. People were like, Roxy, don't go on your Instagram. I go, you don't go on my Instagram. I'm fine, Mom. Like, please don't read it either. It was very intense. But the reality is, like, we all have our bad days. One happened to be on camera and happened to make it in our 22-minute show.
Right.
And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's part of the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we've seen your Roxy. We've seen Dorothy this season.
Yeah.
Same thing. Very emotional things going on with having Cooper not go with you guys and, trying to cover and knowing that things are not as they should be. And it's always so hard because, we see Morgan give her some advice about, we all love him. We all love you. We just want to make sure that he's treating you right. And it's one of those where I love that moment because
we've all been there.
We've all been there. Both sides, I bet. Like every single girl, by your late 20s, you've been in that situation where you've been the one having to hear that and you're the one having to say that to somebody.
Yes, totally.
And I love, when I just watched, actually, you guys went to Hawaii.
Yes.
And we haven't seen that on the show yet.
It's not going to air on TV. It's just a webisode.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I loved how it was just kind of this extra little...
like fun
little girls trip. And I loved that it was just the girls, because it's easy to invite Johnny and EJ when they're kind of queens themselves and they can totally rock it with the girls. But to just see, you three with Gabby go. And it was kind of fun to see another friend that's kind of outside the circle.
Yeah, and she was kind of like a perfect buffer for us.
Yes.
It was like nice to have 4 instead of 3.
Right.
Because 3, one gets left out usually.
Exactly.
It's harder.
So did you guys break off and kind of do your own things, or did you kind of all stick together?
We were all together, but the last night I was tired and Morgan was very sick, and Dorothy and Gabby stayed out till like 4 in the morning.
Which is what we saw.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
And then I was literally sleeping. I was woken up by them screaming in the jacuzzi, which I was happy they were having fun.
Of course.
And then that was the only night we split up. But they had a great time, and we were tired, and we went home, and we were happy about that too.
And that's the nice thing where
when
you can
do
4,
that. You can do that. With 3, you can't.
No.
No,
somebody's going to want to go out, and they're going to feel alone if they have to go by themselves.
Exactly.
And so you guys stayed in a house.
Yes.
Is that typical? Because I feel like most of the time we see you guys all go to a resort or, a hotel and get great rooms with views and everything. But you guys just got a house.
Well,
instead.
sometimes we do hotels, but if a house makes more sense, it's more beautiful and it just depends on whatever's available.
Okay.
And this time the hotel was more beautiful. The house was more beautiful, and it came so equipped that it was perfect for us.
It was lovely.
We had like chefs and drivers and a bartender. It was like phenomenal.
Like,
it was
like, why don't we do this every day?
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to leave at all.
Seriously, I wouldn't want to leave either.
It was beautiful. It was like heaven.
And so we saw in season 1 how you got cut off.
Yes.
And but so how has life kind of changed from that?
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I fuzz on that. So, I had a really bad breakup in New York. I was going to Parsons for interior design, getting my master's. I called my dad, and my dad's like, Rox, come home. Just get this guy out of your life. I'll get you a new apartment. I'll get you a new car. Just get your butt home, and let's get your life together. I was like, yeah, you're right. So I had done a couple of projects in New York, a house in Aspen. So I've had probably like 4 projects under my belt which were pretty big, but I didn't have my own firm established.
And this was while you were in school,
while
right?
I was in school.
Okay.
And one right before school, which really solidified my need to go to school. So I did one project. I'm like, okay, this is what I meant to do. I have to go to school for it. So I get to LA. I'm like mourning for 6 months. I was so depressed. I barely left the house. And I'm like, okay, Dad, it's time to get me an apartment. And he's like, no. I'm like, what? He's like, no. Your mom and I decided it's not good. You can get your own apartment and you can live here as long as you need to, but it's time for you to support yourself. And my dad never gets involved in my finances. It was my mom kind of yelling at me, then I ignore it. But for my dad to say, I knew it was serious. And then at that point, I was very upset at first, but I wanted to kind of take it into my own hands and gain clients and start making my own money. So I called all of my friends, had everyone like put the word out, and I got a really pretty good client, had a great high-rise in Wilshire Corridor. And then from there, I started getting more and more clients. Like I landed a huge house in New York City, and now it feels amazing.
Yes.
And I don't ask them for $1 ever.
And that has to feel good.
Yeah, because then you feel accomplished. You can like pay for your own way. You don't need to depend on anybody, and not a man, not your parents, nothing. It's like the best feeling in the world.
And did you ever think just how you were raised and kind of having this privilege kind of just given that you would ever get to this point?
I never planned on having my parents support me for the rest of my life. But when I was in college, it obviously got very comfortable. And like I didn't want to face it. So I was going to kind of play until they kind of wouldn't allow me to anymore. I always planned on doing this, but they kind of sped up the process, which I'm now so grateful for.
Right.
Now they still won't budge. Like if I want something, I was like, okay, you need to figure it out. I'm like, please, will you get me one thing? She's like, nope, sorry.
She's like, it's not your birthday.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. She's like, well, I bought it, you can borrow it. That's the only thing she might do with a bag or something. She's so funny.
You can come borrow my Birkin.
Yeah. She's so funny, my mom. But it feels amazing. Now I want to kind of create product lines and I'm making pillows and candles, and I like kind of creating furniture more than I like doing a whole space. I've realized I love making furniture and accessories. I'm obsessed with accessories, so I want to explore that now.
And just like designing your own line of furniture.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's like and I like so my whole thing I've realized is I like making beauty accessible for everybody, not just wealthy people that have money. I don't think that's exciting or fun. Like, I want to make beauty accessible for everyone. The little girl having her dorm, your first apartment, your first condo. So I want to make it very inexpensive and affordable. And just really beautiful and cute.
Right. Because beauty doesn't have to be expensive.
It doesn't. And why shouldn't everyone be able to make their apartment cute or their house cute? You know what I mean?
I love that. Without having to go to IKEA.
Yeah, or you don't have to hire a designer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're expensive designers.
Yes.
And if you can afford one, then you don't need to have to offer to you that's so pretty. You can figure it out. But otherwise, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's
don't work yourself out of a job designing.
No, I'm going to design, but my passion is more creating furniture that's more accessible for everybody.
Which is exciting. Well, I'm excited. I'm going to have to go find myself a place to put all your furniture.
I was like, cute stuff.
Perfect. Well, I was looking at your website, and I love all of the different things that you post on there because you just pieces that you find that you love, or I saw you had one article about candles.
Yes, I just posted it yesterday.
Yes, I am such a candle person.
So am I. I'm obsessed with scents.
And so I'm like, it could look not beautiful, but if it smells beautiful, I'm still going to be in a good mood.
Yeah. I think scents are so important. So my candle that I'm making is the most amazing smell in the world. I'll send you one when it's done in 2 weeks.
Yay.
But it's so good. I'm so excited about it.
So you've designed a candle
Yeah.
and a scent. Mm-hmm. So where can people find it
It'll
when
be
it's
sold
out?
on my website only.
It's going to be on your website exclusively.
Exclusive.
On your website.
Yes.
I like that.
Thanks.
So now what's the typical day for you? Now, because you're not filming.
Right. So filming's over. Mm-hmm. We have a break. I have a client in San Francisco that's keeping me a little bit busy, and then I'm kind of working on my pillows and my candles. So going and testing these out, taking photos of all of them, creating my website, and doing all that stuff, getting everything ready.
So not designing. You don't have tons of clients right now.
I have one
just
really
one
big
one.
client, and that's what I'm focusing on. I like to give someone my full attention too. I think it's important.
So is that how you typically one client at a time?
Right now, yes.
If it's
Once I hire more people and it's not just me doing it, I can do more than one.
That's exciting. So expansion is all on the
Yes.
horizon.
Yes.
Did you ever think that you would be doing that? Like running your own firm and
Yes,
bringing
and that
in
was
new people?
always. I always have really lofty goals. I wanted to always have a very big firm and have employees and do many things at once.
Yes.
So I'm happy I'm finally getting there.
Getting
I'm
there,
on the right
yes.
path. I hope.
Very nice. And yes. So is that like a Beverly Hills thing?
Is
Because
it?
Morgan did it too when she was here.
I think I do it so much. Maybe
She started.
one of us started. I don't
Yeah.
know, but we both always knock on wood as if our
And knock
heads
on your
would.
head. She did it 2 or 3 times, and I was like, okay, I think I know what you're doing, but you just have to tell me. What the heck is this?
We both do that. I don't know. We're out of our minds. We knock on wood. We're so superstitious.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen you guys do it on the show either.
I think in one interview, whether it's the one coming up on Sunday or the one in Hawaii, we did it.
Okay.
I remember laughing at myself. I'm like, I'm such an idiot.
I just
Why
did
am
that
I
on
knocking my
camera.
head?
Well, I love that. And so I remember kind of with being cut off and everything and going to that transition, one of your worries was kind of not being able to keep up or kind of do all of the same things that
My
you were
friends are
used to,
doing.
and even more so that your friends were doing that, still had extra funds at their access. So how was that transition period? And did you see
So I think
change?
in the beginning, it was more challenging because they were all still lunching, having fun with less worries. But at the same time, it became a very pivotal time in all of our lives when everyone. So once I started kind of working a lot, they kind of both felt, should I be working?
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be more of the opposite, which is interesting. I thought I'd be more left out, but then they kind of got more motivated through that also.
Right.
Which was kind of interesting to see.
So now everybody's more busy working
Yeah.
than lunching.
Exactly. And I also feel like 25, 26 years old is a very pivotal time because you're trying to figure out what you actually want to do. After college, a year or so after, you're kind of confused. What do I want to do? What I don't not want to do? I hate what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So you're kind of figuring it out. And no one ever talks about that time. So I think we were all kind of in that time floating in la la land. And then once I got really down and started working, they kind of followed, which was kind of cool to see.
Right. Well, especially because you'd much rather them follow in your footsteps in that sense
Yeah.
than get left out.
Of course, but I wasn't worried about not being able to keep up because I have an abundance of stuff and I'm not worried about that aspect of it, but I kind of was more worried about being left out and not hanging out with them as much and having more distance. That was more upsetting to me.
Just because your time would be
I'd be busier
occupied.
and I
Okay.
can't wake up and go to spin and go to lunch. I need to wake up, go see a client, fit a spin class in and go back to the fabricator, you know what I'm saying, like running around.
Right. Well,
It worked out
Yes,
perfectly.
I'm glad that you've been able to kind of do it on your own. And it's funny because I feel like, especially going into the first season, the show kind of made it seem like everybody's kind of living off of their parents' wealth.
Yes.
And while there may be some of that, I don't know if it's just, from you starting to work more and the second season's coming and everybody's just a little bit older, but looking at it now, talking to Johnny yesterday, he keeps a very busy schedule working.
Johnny's always
And makes his own, makes his own money.
And Brendan fully supports himself and has for a long time since he was 18.
Yes.
Like, Brendan, when we were 18, I was like, he sold a house for X amount of millions of dollars. And I'm like, he did what?
Yeah.
Little Brendan did that?
Still
Like,
sold a $10 million house.
yeah, like, wow. And so he's been amazing and supporting himself for a while. And Johnny as well. But I think that we're all very driven people, although
Yes.
maybe you wouldn't assume that by watching season 1 of our show.
Yeah.
And it was just the right time that we all wanted to start getting busy. We wouldn't have done the show if we didn't feel that way.
Of course.
Because the show is also a lot of work, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard that about reality shows.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Because you were kind of telling me before we sat down that, you know, during filming, you're filming 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And that your schedule can change kind of on the drop of a dime.
Literally.
And so
you have zero control over your life. You have no life. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a human. I'm just floating. I'm a floating body. Wherever I should go, I'm going to go. And that's so not like me. I'm a planner. I'm controlling. Everything's like organized. So it was a hard time.
How does that kind of affect, because I mean, obviously you still have a real life to maintain and clients to keep deadlines with, you know, so how does that work? You know, are you able to kind of say, I have to go meet this client at this time?
Well, a couple times I had to do that, but I'm very lucky because the house in San Francisco that I'm working on, they were in construction chaos hell, and so put the project on hold for a few months. So I got very lucky because the second we stopped filming, they were ready for me to start working. Perfect. It was literally God saying, I'm giving you a break.
Yes.
And I was like, every day I was like even more stress on my back. I'm like, what if I need me tomorrow? I can't go there tomorrow. Like, it was so much anxiety. So I didn't take any new clients on in that time.
Of course.
I was just working on the ones that I had, the one I had. Yeah, I don't want to let somebody down either. Doing someone's home is so personal and they want a lot of attention. So I'm very conscious of that.
And it's funny because I feel like I would be this way. I've never had my home designed by a designer, but you know, because it is so personal, it's kind of like, I'll tell you I want this kind of a style, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'll see it in there and it's like, wait, no, that's actually not what I like. I just thought I liked that because I'm not the designer. I don't know.
That's the challenge with the designing. So someone thinks they know what they want and they usually don't know what they want at all. So I have to go along with what you want and kind of change it to be how I think you want it to be. And it's kind of, it's a little dance you have to do around it. So it takes a lot of time. It's not just like,
I'm
unless you see somebody saying, okay, I'm closing my eyes, do whatever you want, which is the dream client. Usually men are like that.
I'm sure, yes.
Like, Roxy, credit card, go. But otherwise, it's a lot of time, a lot of dinners, getting to know them. It's like you're marrying them without having sex with them.
Yes, so
honestly,
that you can build a home together.
Exactly, you want to know how they want their sheets set, about pillows, no pillows, what colors, like what bothers them.
And so, do you ever have clients that have wanted to go shopping with you?
Yes.
And is that common or kind of industry standard, or is it more the designer kind of goes and does it on their own?
No, I think it's more common
for people to go with, and
so you can see what they like. They can show you what they gravitate towards.
Okay.
They like to kind of sit on the furniture, feel the furniture, feel the fabrics. That's more common. It's more uncommon to have someone saying, "Do whatever you want." That's
of course. That makes
so
sense.
rare, and it's like a dream come true.
And you've had that.
Yeah, twice. And I was like,
you're like, I'm just going to work on this forever because...
You need a new couch, by the way.
And don't you want to buy a second home that needs to be designed?
They're usually single men, and I usually have I can finagle my way with them.
Of course.
It works.
Of course. So we've also seen on the show, outside of you starting your own design firm, that you kind of started dating a little bit. You met somebody through Facebook?
Okay. I met somebody who was out of town for a while, and we were chatting via Facebook.
So you met them here, or they lived here?
No, he lives in New York.
Okay, lives in New York.
But he wasn't in New York.
Okay.
And so we were communicating via Facebook chat because it's like easier and it's like fun, and I hate WhatsApp. It gives me bad vibes. I don't know why I don't hate WhatsApp. So we just used Facebook chat, and it ended up being like 5 months of chatting. And my friends would make so much fun of me. I was always like on my phone giggling to myself like a psychopath. And like, Roxy, you don't even know this person. Are you crazy? And I'm like,
no, I really do know him.
I felt like, I do know him, and he's such a nice guy. But that was my way of kind of not finding a real person. I wasn't ready yet, but it was a great step in the direction of getting myself into somebody else.
So now you are ready to, so you do not speak to him anymore?
We still chat. He's so nice, and I think he's lovely. I haven't been to New York to meet him, but he doesn't even live in LA. What's the point? But the idea seemed perfect at the time.
Of course. Well, and like you said, it's kind of one more step in that direction.
Getting ready to date.
Yeah, finding somebody.
I so wasn't ready for the longest time.
Yes. Well, sounds like you'd had a bad breakup.
Yeah. When your heart's broken, it's hard.
Yeah, well, and especially if it's in a situation where you're not ready for it, or it was maybe unexpected for some reason.
Yeah.
To then just kind of be okay is not reasonable.
And also, I'm so loyal and I'm so big on trust. When that's violated for me, it was so hard to trust somebody else again. Like I now I assume to not trust them than to trust them.
Oh,
That's what
I
happens.
see. So it's
That's what
now
happened
it's
to
like
me.
they have to earn your trust rather
Yes.
than they have it until they break it.
Exactly, which I hate being that way, but it kind of made me that way.
Right. And so where are you in the dating scene these days?
I'm kind of seeing somebody.
Kind of seeing somebody. That's exciting.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting.
Lives here.
Lives here.
In person.
Normal human being. Not Facebook chatting.
Now, has he met the friends?
Of course.
Of course. Okay. So maybe season 3.
Maybe.
Well, so we won't see any of him this season.
No, it happened like as we were finishing, as cameras were rolling, packing up, out of nowhere unexpectedly.
But that's
How it happened.
the way. I think that's the way it's supposed
But
to.
we'll see
happen.
what happens. Like for now, I'm
course.
happy.
Good. Well, happy you makes everybody happy.
Happy Roxy's a good, better.
And I'm sure like she appreciates a happy Roxy as well.
Yes, but she hates guys. She gets so jealous. So
Oh, that's right. You were telling me.
he came over to my house, and she had a crazy cough attack. And it was completely fake because she wanted attention. I swear to God. I was like, this bitch is crazy. She's faking choking because this guy's at my house. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I was like, is she okay? I'm like, Mom, she's fine.
Oh.
It was so funny. She's
Well,
a character.
But she is a character, and
Such
I
a
love that she's
character.
on the show, and we kind of
She's
get to
so
see a little
funny.
bit of that and all the photos that you post with her.
I love her.
So, did you do anything special for National Dogs Day?
No, we just hung out.
Yeah. Well, that's with your schedule, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A little Roxy time was
She loved
right
it.
up her alley.
She was hanging in the car, having her head at the window and like getting air. So we spun around the block. She was having fun.
So, are you still living at home?
Yes.
And as you've been designing, have you made any tweaks at
the
home?
house? I'm always making tweaks to the house.
Really?
I'm always moving everything around. Like, Mom, new chair, new furniture, new outdoor. I changed outdoor furniture about 2 months ago, which was fun.
Yeah.
I'm always tweaking stuff. I always move stuff around. I'll start doing it here if I'm here too long. I swear.
Well, we won't keep you here too long. Or maybe, we'll be like, I never thought it could look like this.
Yeah. I'm out of my mind.
And so you're still living at home?
Yes.
Are you thinking about
I need to move out.
leaving? You're
It's
ready?
time. I'm ready, but it's so easy to be at home. My parents are
sure.
so easygoing. They're not in my space. I'm not home that much. So it's nice to have that comfort.
Yeah.
But it's time for me to be a big girl and move out again. I haven't lived at home since I was 18. I haven't had my own
Until
apartment.
now?
Yeah. Since,
Oh, right. Well, through college in New York.
Yeah.
And so does your sister live at home as well?
No, she lives with her boyfriend.
She lives with the boyfriend. Okay. So it's just you and Mom and Dad.
And Lychee and our other dog, Ziggy. My parents'
Oh,
dog.
yes.
It's just us and the dogs.
I love it though.
They're so funny.
So is there anything kind of fun or special that kind of goes on later in the season that you can kind of tip us
Tease?
off to?
So I decided to kind of meet a real human being as opposed to a Facebook boy. And so I go on a date, a blind date with Johnny in these coming episodes that you'll see. And you'll see how that plays out.
This is exciting.
It was exciting. I haven't been on a date since I can remember. I have no idea when.
Yeah, till
So,
that.
Till then. And it was so much fun. I was like so happy. I watched it back and I'm like, you're smiling ear to ear the whole
Yeah.
time. I was probably so nervous, but I was like playing off like I'm so happy. But it was funny.
And so after you'd gone on this date, was it one of those where it was kind of like, that wasn't so bad? Why did it take me so long to do this again?
Yeah, I felt like that.
A little bit. But at the same time, it's kind of like had it been the other way where you went sooner than you were ready, then
would've
it would
killed
have put
myself.
you off to it probably for
Yeah.
so much longer even.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I went on a date Morgan forced me to when I first broke up with my ex. And she said, Roxy, just go. It'll be fun. What's good for you? So I go, and the guy picks me up, and he's trying so hard, and he was so sweet. I just wasn't into it. And then he wore square-toed shoes. And I was like looking for one thing wrong the whole time. I'm like, that's it. I'm like, that's gonna hold on to. I'm like, Morgan, why'd you use this? She's wearing square-toed shoes. She's like, he wore what, Roxy? Get out now. And so I knew it was just like our funny little joke. That's like my joke now with all
That
of
you
them.
won't date a guy with square-toed shoes. Well, you do
like-
have to be ready.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. It was like my cop-out. It's
Oh,
my
of
cop-out
course.
excuse now. I think it's just so funny.
So now what will happen is you'll like end up, and the guy will want to wear like square-toed shoes at your wedding. and
Every
you'll
day
be
of my
totally,
life.
you'll be totally fine with it because it's the right guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining
Thank you
me
for
today.
having me. It was so much fun.
Yes, and just let all of our viewers know where they can find you on social media.
So my Instagram and my Twitter is at Roxy Sowlaty, RoxySowlaty. And what my website is roxysowlaty.com. We have my candles and my pillows there soon.
Yay. You said 2 weeks-ish?
2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4
Everything
weeks.
will be on.
I can't wait.
Thanks. I'll send you a candle as soon as it's done.
I can't wait. It'll be gone like so fast.
Good. I love that.
So I am Courtney. I can be found on Instagram and Twitter at COUHEN. Thank you so much for watching another episode of our Spotlight on here at AfterBuzz.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.